Welcome to Spirit of Vinyl. How we doing today? Hope you guys are all doing well. You know what I do here. Sit here and talk about records that are in my collection and grading and all that kind of fun stuff. Today, this week, we were going to talk about this album from Blue Oyster Cult called On Your Feet, On Your Knees. As you can tell, this is a Japanese pressing. It's from 1975. This is a double live album, gatefold. Let's see here. Here we go. Gatefold record. And then there's the back cover right here. There's your track listing on here. So this is from 1975. This is their fourth album overall. It was recorded over 6 shows in the year 1974. And it's all right, I guess. I got this listed as near mint. As you can see, this is also one of those records that was found in the dumpster that day. The only thing I found wrong in this little corner right here has a slight little ding on it. I still have it listed as near mint. When you open this thing up, it's solid. It feels like it's brand new. It still holds its shape because it hasn't been played that often, apparently. It has the inner, the Japanese stuff that comes on the inside. It's got this advertisement type thing on there, Rock's Best 100. Pictures of all these other bands and all the records that are for sale from this whatever company this is, because it's written in Japanese. It also had this cool insert, which is different. It's like a poster that opens up. All right, I'm trying to get it open here. Let's see here. Oh yeah, see, it's a trifold, so it folds out. There's the inside. There's your insert sheet, which is pretty fucking cool, honestly. And then the other side has this picture of the band, which is cool that this is still in there. I would think most of the time something like that would have been hung up on somebody's wall. I mean, me as a kid, I would have hung this thing up on the wall myself. The records themselves, like I said, this thing played well. There's the label, looks like that on each one. It's got the track listing of each side on here. And it's shiny and perfect and beautiful. Both records are the same. I'm not going to worry about showing you the other one. No pops, no skips, no scratches. Of course, these ones that I found in that dumpster that day were all in perfect condition. Well, 95% of them. There's the guy's signature, once again, on the inside of the record. Besides that, there's nothing really wrong with these records at all. And all these records that have that in there, that he wrote his name in there like that, I did not take away from the grading system because of that. It can't really be seen unless you open it up on the inside. It's not really hurting anything. My first impression of this album is it is mixed well. It's a live album, but you can tell it's live, but it doesn't sound overly live, I guess you'd say. You're only hearing crowd noise between songs that like fades up and fades out. You can tell all that was done kind of in the studio, of course. But it did sound live, I would say. Nothing in the mix seems to overpower. It's mixed really well. The guitars or the vocals or anything isn't overpowering the other instruments. The guitar player in this band is great, and their keyboard player is awesome also, It's good mid-70s rock and roll. They do have a jam band feel. I was listening to this album, and I was like, it's kind of this jam thing. Some of these songs were 6 minutes long, and there's 3 or 4 minutes of no lyrics at all. And these weren't songs that I knew. This is early Blue Oyster Cult from 1975. This is pre-Don't Fear the Reaper, pre-Godzilla, pre-Burning for You. So none of those songs are on this record. It did go to number 22 in the Billboard. It's a gold album. It sold 500,000 copies. It was a good listen. I did enjoy listening to it. Live albums can be tricky sometimes if they're not done well. This one is actually done well. But like I said, I didn't know any of the songs on there. What I know about Blue Oyster Cult is the stuff on the radio. We all know Don't Fear the Reaper. We all know Godzilla. We all know Burning for You. But unless you're a fan, name me 3 other songs from Blue Oyster Cult, And I can't. I can't. I didn't know any of these songs on here at all. I mean, we've got, oh, what do they say on here? Uh, Harvester of Eyes, Hot Rails to Hell, Last Days of Man, City of Flame, Me 26-2. I didn't know any of these songs. I didn't realize Blue Oyster Cult also was so keyboard heavy. Honestly, I didn't realize that because when you hear those three songs that I mentioned earlier, like Dope for the Reaper, there's keyboard in there, but it doesn't seem like it's heavy. This seemed like a really heavy keyboard album. I also was reading on Blue Oyster Cult as I was listening to this record and researching for this episode and realizing they didn't really write a whole lot of their own music. They wrote music, but they didn't write lyrics. Lyrics were written by people like Patti Smith, who was a girlfriend, or it was listed as one of the band members' partners, whatever that means. That 70s thing, how Patti Smith was. Nobody's property, they're partners. And I get that. And it's great and it's beautiful or whatever. But overall, I didn't really dig it. I only gave it like 2.5 stars. It's because it's not my style of music. It's not my jam, It's more of a jam band sound. There is long periods of time where it's just keyboards and guitars playing and, it's like if you listen to the Grateful Dead or Fish or something like that. It's jam band music. It's kind of what it comes off to me. I don't think they really come into their own until later. I also have other Blue Oyster Cult albums that were found. Apparently, Mike, who was the name of the person whose records I found in the dumpster, apparently he was a fan because there's like 4 of them over there. The reason I picked this album is because Discogs random item, it came up. I played it and listened to it. First time I'd ever played it since I found it. And like I said, it was good, but it just wasn't my style. It's not something I would want to listen to all the time. But if you're a fan, you might enjoy this stuff. But this is earlier stuff. Don't go getting it thinking it's going to be Dope for the Reaper or whatever. Maybe if I'd listened to Extraterrestrial Live, which was another album that I have over there, I might have enjoyed that one better because that one is later and it does have Dope for the Reaper and has those songs. At least I would have known a couple of songs that I knew. But I try to go into these things that I never heard before for you guys when I listen to them with open ears and open mind and trying to decide what I like. And it was good, but it's not my style. And that's all. I'm more of a heavier rock and roll guy. And Blue Oyster Cult was a good band who had lots of influence on people. 70s music, for that era. For me, I'm listening to Sabbath, I'm listening to Kiss, I'm listening to AC/DC, I'm listening to early Maiden and early Priest. I would rather listen to that than listen to Blue Oyster Cult, honestly. I would not have bought any of these records if I didn't have them. So finding them in the dumpster is also a plus because what that does for me is it does open me up to stuff like this that I never would have heard. I never would have heard this album if I hadn't have found it. I never would have spent my money on a Blue Oyster Cult album because they're not even in the top 30 of bands I would go for when I'm looking at records. It's not anything I'm looking for. And it's nothing against their talent or anything else. It's just about their style compared to my ears and what I like and what I don't like. So I only gave it 2.5 stars. And that's not, like I said, not because of musicianship, not because of anything else. Like I said, it's mixed well, it's pressed well. Of course, it's pressed well, and it's cool looking. It's got this cool giant ass Obi strip on it. The inserts were awesome. The cover's in very good shape. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. There's some slight indentation right there, ring wear indentation, but it's not bad enough that it's really sticking out. The light's got to hit it just right in order for you to see it. So I'd still say this was near mint to mint minus, honestly. When I played it, it sounded perfect, of course. It's in great condition. That guy really took care of his records. I'm assuming he really took care of his records because they've all been in really, really good shape. There's no scratches, no skips or whatever. He must have been taking care of his equipment. We all know things can happen. You get a bad needle, your needle gets worn down, you end up fucking up a record. That didn't happen with any of the records that I picked up that I found in that dumpster that day. So he was taking very good care of his records. And I really appreciate that because the universe gave them to me later. And I did enjoy listening to it. It's not like I listened to this album for the hour and 10 minutes that it was and just hated it the whole time, but it was hard to stay focused sometimes for me because it is kind of a jam band thing and it's just not my thing. That's all. That's all it is. It just wasn't my thing. But overall, the mix is good. The musicianship's good. The songs are good, but I give it the 2.5 stars because of my taste, not because of what they were doing. If you like what Blue Oyster Cult does, and if you like some of their earlier stuff and you don't have this live album, apparently it's got a bunch of songs off those first 3 albums on there. So if you like those albums and you don't have this live album, go ahead and pick it up. A copy like this one with the Japanese pressing, it's about $50. You can get it shipped to your house for $50 on Discogs. And yeah, you wouldn't be disappointed if you are a Blue Oyster Cult fan, I wouldn't think. And I wasn't disappointed. Like I said, it's just not my style of music. But overall, good record. So go ahead, if you like it, go ahead and pick it up if you're into that era of music and that style of music. Like I said, this cool gatefold. I didn't see anything about this album being repressed, so I have no idea what to compare it to or what people are saying on the internet when it comes down to it. But you can get this Japanese pressing just like this in fairly good shape for $50. So go ahead and give it a shot. Well, that's pretty much it for me. Thanks for watching today, guys. I really appreciate it. Blue Oyster Cult. Oh, and I love the title, On Your Feet or On Your Knees. They say it a couple times in the record. On your feet or on your knees. To me, that's stand up and, adore us or get on your knees and worship us. That's kind of what I got when they were saying that. So I don't know if that's what their intent was or not, but it was kind of cool. So, and it does have this cool metal Blue Oyster Cult logo, and I know you can't see it. This does not slide at all, so I'm not going to try to move it to see the rest of the record cover because it's on there pretty damn tight, and I don't want it to tear. I don't want to stretch it out or anything like that, so it'll just look like that the way it is. So, all right, thanks guys, really appreciate it. We'll talk to you guys all later.